10 wide receivers that are going to break out in fantasy football and absolutely win you some leagues. I'm starting with the biggest sleepers first, on to the guys that get all the way up until round one that I think are going to break out and that you'll need to absolutely claim in your draft. Don't let your pesky league mates get these players. Now, we'll start first with the guy that's literally going undrafted. No one's going to contest you for him. It's Cedric Tilman. There was a 3-week stretch last year where he broke out and Jerry Jeudy broke out. It's when Jameis Winston started playing quarterback. He was averaging 22.2 points per game over those 3 weeks. That was the wide receiver 2 over that span, and he was the clear wide receiver 1 over Jerry Jeudy. He's a better wide receiver 1 overall profile than Jeudy is. 6'3", 213, runs a good 40 time. His best comparison is Nico Collins. Like, he's a real X wide receiver, whereas Judy's more of a slot wide receiver. And the disparity in ADP makes no sense. Why would Jeudy be going in the 5th or 6th round just because Cedric Tilman got hurt? Like, all of Judy's production was because he was literally the only pass catcher there. Now, Judy's going to be fine. He'll do his thing, but I don't think it's going to be like a clear 1-2. It should be a 1A, 1B, and Tilman has crazy upside going literally undrafted. Now, the next guy on this list is a guy in Josh Downs who is somehow going 70 picks behind DK Metcalf, Zay Flowers, guys that he easily beat last year on a points per game basis. I don't think it can get any worse than it was last year with Anthony Richardson. His completion percentage was in the 50s. The team threw the 6th least pass attempts per game last year. They're going to pass a little bit more this year. I'm not sure how much more, but it's got to be a little bit more, and they should be more accurate. If you actually look at the completion percentage stats against other teams, they were so wildly inefficient, but he's extremely talented. When he was on the field, he was doing his thing. We could take a quick look at his game log last year. On a per-game basis, like, he was raking in some targets, 9, 12, 9, 10, 13, 7. Like, he had some pretty big games, and I just think he's a really good wide receiver. Like, I think he's better than Michael Pittman as a player. The only issue I would have with Josh Downs is I also like Tyler Warren, and they both work out of the slot over the middle of the field, but maybe they both just get peppered a ton there this year. They're probably going to want to be more of an offense that runs through those type of passes than last year, because last year they were just chucking bomb after bomb to Alec Pearson. If that wasn't work, they didn't know what to do. It looks like Richardson actually looks better in the first preseason game, able to actually hit his players over the middle of the field. So I really like Josh Downs. The third player is rising heavily, Matthew Golden. He's probably going to be moving way up in this list. For me, you guys know I've liked him for a while, but Jaden Reed is in a walking boot that guarantees Matthew Golden's in 2 wide receiver sets. Jaden Reed never even played in 2 wide receiver sets in the past 2 years, but maybe with Christian Watson being out and Wicks being out, there was a thought of that. That's got to be squashed now. Matthew Golden has been the best receiver in training camp by far. He looks really talented. 4.29 speed. He's playing with a top 5 head coach, a top 10 quarterback, a good offensive line, no real competition at wide receiver. I mean, the Packers were, I believe, it was either the 3rd or 4th most run-heavy team last year. They were under 600 passing attempts. That's crazy, and it's mainly because Jordan Love started the year hurt. If you guys remember in the Eagles game, he immediately hurt his knee, and they had to not be such a pass-heavy team, and that's why as the year went on, Josh Jacobs got even more and more work. But Matthew Golden is primed for a breakout. This is last year's Brian Thomas, Ladd McConkey. Just pick the stud wide receiver in the situation that doesn't have much competition with a great quarterback and a great system. Then, same kind of logic here, Stefan Diggs. Great breakout year 2 quarterback in Drake May, an ascending offense. Mike Vrabel's an amazing coach. He knows how to win. Their win total goes from 4 games last year to 8.5 is the projected line this year. I like Kyle Williams as well. I would have put him in this video, but I feel like I'm always talking about Kyle Williams. One of these 2 guys is going to be, it might just be both, because, you know, you can just have a Jamar Chase, T. Higgins situation, but one of these 2 guys, if not both, is going to ball out. Stefan Diggs will be primarily playing out of the slot. I don't see him going deep downfield as much. That's more going to be Williams, Booty, I'm always blanking on the dude from San Francisco. Why? What's his name? The dude from San Francisco that's on their team, Kendrick Bourne. I don't know why I always blank on Kendrick Bourne's name, but they're going to be running those like kind of X-receiver, like give routes down the field, the sacrificial lamb, like the Romeo Dobbs of this team, where they're not going to be getting peppered with targets. It's mainly going to be Diggs and then Kyle Williams. So both those guys with Drake May, ascending offense, that's the biggest key. If you can pick out the offense in fantasy that blows up more than anyone expected. Last year it was the Commanders. The year before it was Nico Collins with the Texans. Last year Terry obviously had 13 touchdowns on the Commanders. Like, you want to find those offenses that people are just not confident enough in and take advantage. So I like Stefan Diggs, and he looks completely fine, by the way, off the ACL. It's like it never happened for him. Then Jawan Jennings, a guy I personally have been drafting more, and I did not draft enough of him at the beginning of the year. He was pretty good last year, had a couple big games, obviously had the 50-point game, but with Brandon Ayuk, Not going to be back until likely week 6, if not later. Like week 6 is probably the earliest that he'll be back. He's definitely going to be put on the PUP, missing at least 4 weeks at the beginning of the year. And usually with these catastrophic knee injuries, you don't come back and just play 100% of snaps. Like Ayuk will probably come back and play 30 to 50% of snaps for a couple weeks, and I'm going to be all in on Jawan Jennings. Ricky Pearsall could be your guy too if you prefer him. I think Jennings is more of a wide receiver 1 build, but Pearsall could just absolutely rack up targets out of the slot. That would be such a easy thing for him to do as well. And obviously George Kittle, I don't have to put him in this video. You guys know George Kittle is going to go crazy on this team, so I love that. Then we got Travis Hunter, okay? If it wasn't clear enough already, he's going to be playing mainly on offense. He only played 1 snap less than BTJ in the preseason. And the thing that I like about Hunter is they put BTJ as the X receiver on the line of scrimmage, having to deal with press coverage every single rep. I believe 86% of the reps, there was 15 reps for Hunter. 86% of them were off the line of scrimmage, either in the slot or at Z, where he's able to just do his thing. He doesn't have to deal with press coverage. He gets easy manufactured looks. And I don't think he'll be playing less than like 75% of snaps on offense. And if it is less than that, it'll be kind of the Tyreek Hill treatment from 2 years ago, where Tyreek Hill had 1,700 yards. He only played like 54% of snaps or something crazy, because he would just sit out all the run blocking snaps, sit out all the reps that were just direct screens to Waddle or Achane or whatever. They weren't using him for the reps that he wasn't going to be on the field. They wanted him to get his rest, all that. Travis Hunter will probably be in like 20% of defensive snaps. That's my guess. I think he'll be in for situational stuff, but they're not going to be gassing him out. He's going to be in and getting the ball when he is in on offense, and I think he can make a serious push for being the wide receiver 1 on this team. He is extremely talented, 2nd overall pick. This dude is so freakishly athletic. He is the best hands in the league already, probably. It's definitely going to be top 5 immediately. Route running is nice. Like, he's just an overall great player, and you can still get him on ESPN in like the 6th, 7th round. I'm getting him on Underdog in the 5th round, and that's like the sharpest platform out there, and I can't believe he fell from the 4th to the 5th. But yeah, Calvin Ridley, similar to Jawan Jennings, is a guy that I've come around on over this past week. I was not drafting enough of him. I need to get more of my bags packed with Calvin Ridley, because it's one of the things that I just discussed before. Find the wide receiver 1 on the undervalued offense. The offensive line on the Titans has much improved, and they want to be a pass-first offense. The coaching staff that got there last year wanted to be pass-heavy, but they cannot do that with Will Levis. Cam Ward, the number 1 overall pick. It's just always these times with like a number 1 overall pick that gets no hype. How are we letting his wide receiver 1, like the clear wide receiver 1, go in like the 70s? It makes no sense. Like, there's no competition for targets here at all. It's like Chigga Okonkwo and Tyler Lockett. And in the preseason game, they threw the ball 8 times with the starters. He caught 3 for 50 yards. I mean, clearly they have a connection. I also like Tony Pollard on this offense. And the offense, what if this offense is not 30th in the league like last year, whatever? What if they're 18th? What if they're 15th? What if they're 12th? The upside is crazy. He also had the most unrealized air yards in the entire league last year. That makes sense when Will Levis is completely missing him on every target. But if they throw that often and that deep to him this year, there's just going to be some big explosion weeks for Calvin Ridley. Another guy that should see more explosive weeks is DJ Moore. We know that talent has always been there. I don't think he's a tier 1 wide receiver, but we saw it with that 1 year with Justin Fields. Even on like kind of limited targets, he was able to go ape. I won't curse on this channel. I'm trying not to, at least. He went ape-S. And I think that DJ Moore is going to have a really good breakout year with Ben Johnson as the coordinator. They clearly want to use him. They're already using him in the backfield, mainly because Swift is not a every down workhorse kind of back. And if they're already understanding that DJ Moore needs to get scheme touches and that Ben Johnson hates Luther Burden, basically, I think he's going to get so much stuff around the line of scrimmage, kind of like Travis Hunter, a lot of the easy dump-off targets that really rack up the PPR floor. Like, he'll have like a 9-point-per-game PPR floor of just like 4 for 50 every game of just like checkdowns to him. And then on top of that, he'll have some deep routes and everything, and it's just only up from there, I think he'll easily average 15 to 17 points per game and has upside for 18 to 19. I'm not worried about the competition in Loveland. Burden's already getting chewed out every practice, and Rome Odunze's fine, but there's like a 1.5 round gap between Moore and Odunze. I just think Moore is a more well-rounded wide receiver. He's a better overall wide receiver. I'm going to go with DJ Moore. Then, the second to last player, Tyreek Hill. You guys know how I feel about him. He's the best pick in the 3rd round. I'm taking the full risk on this. Jonnu Smith is gone. If they keep the offense from last year, which there's no way they do, he would get all the dump-off targets, but they're not going to do that. He'll get a lot of dump-off targets, but they're going to go way more downfield, kind of how they were in 2023. They faced the most cover 2 out of any team last year. I'm sure they have an entire offseason to figure that out. They're going to have to figure it out. If they can't, yeah, he's going to probably bust. But I have faith in Mike McDaniel. I have faith in Tyreek Hill. He's just as fast and explosive as ever. His route running looks super crisp right now. He's dealing with, I believe it's like an oblique injury. I'm not too worried, to be honest. I think he'll be fine. Good to go. But Tyreek Hill is the most upside in the third round. Like JSN has no wide receiver 1 overall potential. Garrett Wilson doesn't. I love Devontae Adams. He probably doesn't either. But Tyreek Hill clearly above all. I would take him over T. Higgins. You guys know I have him as my 14th or 15th overall player in fantasy. And then Malik Neighbors in the first round. He is my favorite pick. I can get him often in the between pick 8 to 11. He is my wide receiver 3, above Justin Jefferson, above Puka Nacua. He averaged the most targets per game last year. He gets a quarterback upgrade in Russell Wilson. Jackson Dart looked amazing, so whoever it is at quarterback, I like. The offensive line is going to be healthier than last year. He was the wide receiver 2, averaging 24 points per game over the first 4 weeks until Andrew Thomas, the left tackle, got hurt. The offense became really bad after that. They had to check down every single play, so he wasn't able to do his thing. And last year, he had the second most unrealized air yards. I think everything's going to come merging in at the right time for him. I think he's just as talented as the Jamar Chases and Justin Jeffersons. I think he'll, after this year, be in that conversation. And yeah, if you guys like these types of videos, leave a comment, leave a like, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.